goal is to bring you your next favorite band.
Sweet, that intro is my new favorite band. That's phenomenal. I'm so excited to be on.
Yeah. I heard a rumor that you might be able to play that song live today.
You heard correctly. Yes.
So,
good enough for Robin.
I don't know when I rock out here on your next favorite band and show.
and listen, it's going to be everybody's favorite band. Like,
Phil, you weren't supposed to make me get all... God almighty,
but this
Phil.
is why we do it.
Like, seriously. I gotta gather myself. All right, go ahead.
Okay.
Welcome to your next favorite band. That's both the show title and our promise to you. We here at Stereophilia Studio are tireless in our pursuit of finding incredible, genre-defiant artists who are either a hot, up-and-coming band or a group that has been delivering for years but have flown under the radar. Tonight, we have our highlights from Listen to the Dissonance. Each month, we will bring you live streams, audio podcasts, and perhaps even a live concert where you can listen to the stories and hear the music of artists personally curated by us based on what we feel will be worthy of your time. Be sure to subscribe and tune in to each episode because the possibilities are endless and you never know who will be your next favorite band. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese.
Hello, and I'm your co-host, David Moore.
And you are listening to
Your next favorite band.
And we are happy festival season, David.
Yeah, we've officially kicked off into the, probably outdoor show.
And parenthetically, probably.
Yeah, well,
Outdoor
Mother Nature
show.
has a point of view as well, so.
Correct. We tried that in April. Mother Nature certainly does things there too, but
It didn't rain.
It didn't rain. We had a great crowd.
It did not rain.
We had a great crowd. It was a little chilly, but
A lot chilly, but it
yeah.
was it was what you get for that time of the year too.
Yeah, no, listen, it was a beautiful day, and I think that's kind of nice to be able to be part of probably outdoor festival season. But as you know, we try to do on this show, again, probably imperceptibly to anybody else, but kind of carve the year into 3-4 month sections. So this is starting, in May here, a new background and a new feel. And we're going to bring it too, as we have an episode coming up in June where we're going to talk about all of the festivals and the various summertime concerts that are in and around the area. Northeast, we're not going to make it so hyper specific to Lehigh Valley, Philadelphia, but many of these people who are touring are going to be elsewhere in the country as well. So we're just going to kind of run down all of the places that we think people should be interested in checking out a show, and it's going to involve the other two local podcasts, more to the Philadelphia region, Dan Drago from 25 O'Clock and Nate Runkle from Yo, That's My John.
It's just very short titled podcasts,
Right.
just like ours.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Nobody has a podcast that's called music,
life,
politics. The podcast
that might be out there.
It probably is. Probably just not very successful.
Yeah, the one thing I will say is it'd be very hard to differentiate yourselves on a Google search with those. I feel like I hope that these will be the top search result if you input these terms.
Yeah, I hope so too.
Yeah. Although I think there's a show out there called Your Next Favorite Movie, and sometimes that comes up when I search just for the fun of it.
We'll have to do a crossover with them about rock movies or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe like Eddie and the Cruisers, the conversation.
Of all of cinematic universe, you went with Eddie and the Cruisers.
I'll tell you a whole story about that after we're not in the episode.
Fantastic. Yeah, save it for that episode. So just a quick also kind of preview. This month we've got some really cool guests. Willa Frank will be on next week. Mm-hmm. Then we have Gangsta Grass, and then we have, I know one you're looking forward to, the American Hotel System.
Yeah, American Hotel System were one of my picks from last year's Music Fest. And so we finally were able to schedule something with them. So that'll be a great conversation as far as
and Gangsta Grass is phenomenal. They've got brand new music coming out. They were on America's Got Talent, I believe.
Yeah, that's correct. And we had Arson on prior. He's actually in the intro.
Right. For his interview last year.
8 months ago, is that
right?
Yeah.
No, I think it's almost 14 now. I think it was like February or March last year.
Wow, time flies. I thought it was after last summer. Look at that.
No, I think it was. I mean, maybe it was May, but I'm pretty sure it was March or April.
Regardless, you can find it on nextfaveband.com.
Correct. Yeah, our son, the voice of reason, one of the fronting MCs for Gangsta Grass. We talked about his solo music, and then later this month we'll have on Gangsta Grass, which I'm super pumped for because.
And for anybody that doesn't know, Gangsta Grass is a bluegrass hip hop ensemble,
and it's phenomenal.
And it sounds like that shouldn't work. You'd be wrong.
Right. Actually, I think it only sounds like it wouldn't work until you think about it, and then you're like, no, wait, that really probably does, and it certainly does.
It actually holds up quite well, actually.
Incredibly well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And then Willa Frank next week should be super awesome too. She's a wonderful singer-songwriter out of Nashville. And so excited to feature her music. Then we've got great stuff in June. Like the June 4th is going to be that kind of festival banter episode. And then after that, just lots of cool stuff in the hopper, if you will. And obviously working on some
we can't even talk about yet.
That's exactly right. There's even stuff about that Gangsta Grass episode we can't talk about yet, so stay tuned for that.
Secrets.
And this is probably a good time to also promote this. We now have a newsletter that people can sign up for to keep on top of what we've got cooking. So if you'd like to sign up for our email newsletter, you can do that on our website. And it'll give you like a recap of it's only once a month. We're not going to spam you. It's a recap of the month before, upcoming of what this month has, and then like, again, anything else that's kind of on the horizon. Like, for example, our Music Fest Exordium, which is, that kind of like deep dive into the 10 days of Music Fest for that year on the Tuesday prior. So that's already set for Tuesday, July 30th. So
sounds so weird to say that's in July simply because of where Music Fest falls this year. Because usually it's always August.
Right. It starts on Friday, August 2nd.
Yeah.
So the Exordium will be on the 30th of July. So anyway, lots of other great stuff coming up, but I kind of wanted to preview some of that. Tonight we honor Listen to the Dissonance, the event we did back in February. We thought it would make a ton of sense, not only giving us time to kind of digest the way that day went, because it was very deep. It was a very powerful day, and then also to work with the artists to make sure that the edits are what they're good with. Not that they're looking to keep anything, but there's stuff that in a room full of 100+ people, you're gonna do that you wouldn't necessarily want part of a broadcasted live stream. So worked with them to edit it down, and also there's not everything you would want to have out there. This is somewhat a little bit of a broadcasted teaser for you to want to join it when we do the event again next February. And so that's a little bit of that as well, as to kind of give you a sense for what the day's about. But also May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and so we just thought it tied very well with letting some time breathe there, but also kind of honoring this month and all that it means. Basically, similar to Earth Day in April, we shouldn't only be seeking out help or looking out for each other in the month of May when it comes to mental health, but this is definitely the month to make sure that resources are aware, and that it's okay to ask for help and all that kind of stuff. So we had, as a part of that day, NAMI, which is the National Alliance on Mental Illness, which is available. There's chapters in just about every city and town in the country that you'd be able to reach out to ask for help or simply group support. And it could be something more like imminent in your life, like maybe the loss of a loved one, that you're working through grief, or short-term depression over maybe loss of a job, whatever, or more long-term, like you've always struggled with anxiety, depression, substance abuse, who knows what. There's help out there, and there's places to turn. And NAMI is a great place to start, but there's plenty of other resources out in every town as well. And even just reaching out to a loved one to ask for help or guidance, that they might be able to navigate that. And then in the music industry specifically, there's an organization called Backline. Backline.care is their website, and they do wonderful things by giving free services to people in the music industry. And so we were kind of shining a spotlight on that organization in particular. And the ticket sales and the events of that day back in February we were able to make a donation to Backline in the amount of $511. So kind of kudos to the community for coming together for us to be able to do that. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah. I thought that I thought it was a very. I wanted to touch on all that, but I also kind of wanted to honor the 4 musicians who had the courage and the bravery to step forward, kind of take up the mantle of this for that day of Listen to the Dissonance, to share their stories, to have those conversations, and then the music that was somewhat inspired from those moments. So Knotz and Elise, Seán Barna, Carly Comando of Slingshot, Dakota, and then Mike and Shannon Maines of Mike Maines and the Branches are who you're going to see some highlights from now, and some of the other, just in between. So like there's stuff that kind of happened in between the conversations. And so, David, anything you would want to share from that day, or anything that you kind of remember as like a highlight?
Well, the performances, which is what we're going to get most of this highlights, is outstanding. It was a very special day to be part of. Both the performers were fantastic. They were all very vulnerable or transparent or honest, or in some cases a little bit gruff in a way that made sense with their story. I'm not trying to put anybody that was put off by the experience. Right. But we were in a room that everyone was there for this moment, and a lot of people were touched, and myself included. And I was happy to be part of it. I'm glad that I had a chance to be there. It was something special. And plus we had it in a great venue. Yeah. This is another teaser. If you have an opportunity next year, we do it in the Ice House in Bethlehem, which is such an interestingly cool historic venue that also is truly an actual ice house that is a really wonderful place for something like this to happen.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and thank you to them as well, Ice House, Doug Royston, and the entire kind of. It's a artist-led community, so basically it is very much a DIY space, but it's got so much support to it that you're never doing it completely by yourself.
Right, exactly.
And so it is a wonderful gem that is, has kind of sort of been hidden, but is coming out, into the fabric of the arts community more and more, and that's great to see, because it is a wonderful, like you said, a wonderful space. And it's not just music. It could be dance. It could be stand-up comedy. It could be something cultural.
Well, the day before ours was a Latin cultural event.
Exactly.
I mean, we were there while they were setting up equipment and pieces of art and whatnot. While we were in there for a final sort of walkthrough of some of the things we were doing.
100%. So yeah, if you're again at all within the reaches of Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, it's yet another very cool venue to be aware of what's going on there, and perhaps show up and support. A lot of the stuff can be free or just simply like a nominal ticket, and it's just a great spot. So. Thank you to the artists and musicians. Thank you to the people who came to see it. Thank you to the Ice House, and please enjoy these highlights from Listen to the Dissonance. Songs and conversations on mental health.
Welcome. How's everyone feeling? How's everyone feeling? Thank you for being here. I'm Knotz.
I'm Elise.
And we're going to open the event up. So usually before we jump into our sets, we always take a few minutes to kind of just ground the energy and really take a minute to breathe. Life moves very fast, and we know how important it is to take those moments to just be and just breathe. And so we usually start our shows like this, and as we do that, we share words that we aim to live by. The life we long to live. Today we see the world with enthusiasm and curiosity. We know that each breath is an entryway to inner calm and peace. So we take time to just breathe. We know that setting goals for the future gives us direction in the present. We also understand that the present is truly a gift. Just breathe. The mind is brilliant. The body is healthy, and the spirit is tranquil. Just breathe. We are all works in progress, and that's a beautiful thing.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I am your host, Philip Reese.
Hi, and I'm your co-host, David Moore. And I've got a hot mic.
And you are listening to...
Your next favorite band.
That's the way we open the show, for those of you who may not know who the heck we are and why we just interrupted some beautiful music. We host a live stream podcast called Your Next Favorite Band.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Some of you have seen it. And so what we do is each Tuesday we bring on artists, musicians, and tell their story. And that's the way we open the show.
It is the way we've opened every show for the last, we're approaching number
100.
100.
100. We'll get into that a little bit later. But we kind of, David and I talked, and we were like, that's not the way to open today. This is too important to get this one right. And as we were just compiling the artists and the musicians who were going to be a part of the day, we knew that song by Kuf and Christine called Intro Mantra, and it just seemed like nothing better than that to really kind of set the vibe.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost like it was handed to us on a plate. It was like,
really
here
was.
you go, make it easy. And we were like, yes, we're going to work with this 100%.
Yes, yeah, and the universe took care of us in a lot of ways. There was on the show there was a lot of opportunities to talk with people about vulnerable topics, and the topic of mental health kept coming up, where people were sharing openly, musicians, about depression and anxiety and the various things we'll touch on today. And it just seemed like it was the right thing to do to kind of make it about something like this, where we can raise some awareness, hopefully destigmatize, labels and words, and being, in need of help. And so that's where we just kind of said to the different musicians who had shared different moments, do you want to come on and do this? And everybody was super supportive of that. And then also their music that comes out of those moments, and whether it was about the dark times or about the hopeful times, we're going to be open to all of it. So really today is not about, we are in no means a professional. We are not trying to solve anything today. We're just trying to create a safe space where we can have these conversations and listen to this music.
That was perfect. I don't have anything to add.
So with that being said, we also wanted to cover kind of like where the whole name came from. So like we said, we kind of just wanted to listen. Dissonance came in where it was like, it's used in music. It's not something avoided in music. And so to ignore it or to push it away, when you have dissonance in your life, it's just part of the beauty of the day. And so we were saying, let's just listen to that, capture it, and work through it, move on from it. So that's kind of where the name came from.
Right, it embraces both the idea of personal and musical dissonance.
Correct.
Beauty and a little bit of struggle that
Yeah.
might be there.
And then there was other nuances. Again, we'll touch on some of this throughout the show today. But again, the universe just kept pointing to this being a pretty cool thing. So there was something. So Kuf in that opening intro mantra was saying some things, and a lot of times when you're working through just kind of like positivity and such, sometimes you wake up in the morning and you've been taught to say these affirmations.
Sure.
Right? So I kind of have this thing. So everybody who comes up on the stage today is going to reach in and grab an affirmation. So why don't you be the first person and just read what that says.
I am a fucking leader.
So I found on the Amazons, this says my little bag of sweary affirmations. So we're gonna have some fun with that. But anyway, welcome to the stage, Knotz and Elise. Thank you so much for being our opening. That was so great. It set such a cool kind of, as the kids say, vibe. But I just so appreciate all that you do, and your music is amazing. And then also to be able to start things off that way was just terrific.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, so first, let's have an affirmation. I can't wait to see these. And if you need to censor it, or if you need me to read it, if you're not into the whole profanity thing, I'll take care of it. So what does yours say?
I am effing brave.
Nice. What's that? Oh yeah, you don't want that. Yeah. That's a little rougher. I didn't totally. See me afterwards if you want to. Yeah,
Phil did not vet these apparently.
I sparkle.
So yeah, you can hang on to those. Those are yours to keep. I mean, listen, you got to have some levity with these situations. We're going to have enough dark talk, but I think first we wanted to, so David shared about Higher Grounds music, so why don't you share a little bit about that, because Christine, you are a board certified music therapist.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about what that means, what your organization does, and then maybe again people might be able to tap into it.
So has anybody heard of music therapy before? Yeah! All right, so if you haven't, music therapy is really when someone uses music as a tool within the therapeutic process. So that could look there could be so many different ways where it could be used. And the way that we use it is really in community work. Kuf and I started a community outreach performance project where we perform using our songs to use the interventions and themes of the songs to do different activities to meet different goals.
And I think what brought it all together was Christine being a music therapist, and then my full time was out performing and doing music.
Right.
When we came together, we wanted to figure out a way to marry those two things.
Sure.
And that felt like the perfect way.
Mm-hmm.
And so when we're out on tour, the days we're not doing shows in venues, we utilize those days to go into community centers, to after-school programs, even into libraries, and do performances.
And I love too, like you have a song called Community, and it's you always say you focus on unity, and I just never jumped out at me that word had that in there. And then you also have Unity down there. You're selling really good tea. And I bet you everyone's going to expect this part of your story, but so. It's tale as old as time. Christine, music therapist, goes to a show, sees Knotz perform, and then sees him in Whole Foods and approaches him to say, "Do you want to do music together?" That happens all day, every day. But anything else? I just love that story. So, but I just figured I'd give you a moment. That's got to be such a you're just looking at produce and then.
Yeah, I was actually looking at cookies. It's like, why did you catch me right now?
But anyway, thank you again for what you do. If people want to learn more about Higher Grounds music, or if people want to learn more about Kuf and Christine, you have your merch down there. And here you're going to play another 2-3 songs for us?
Yep.
Awesome. Let's listen to some Kuf and Christine.
Our next song is called Be Free. And when we do this song, it's pretty much an invitation to for everyone to be free. If there's anything that has you feeling like you're tied down or held back, we just invite you to cut those strings. It could be a job, could be a relationship, could be both, could be many things. But our belief is happiness is the most important thing. So whatever's going to allow you to grab that and reach that, we invite you to cut those strings. This is Be Free. Shows us new things, but so needed. Stay humble, believe. Just searching and reading, I'm absorbing the teachings. Growing every day and passing jewels for free. Get it, live it, love it. The blessing is so real. Trapped between these thoughts, running laps on hope's wheel. Knowing that tomorrow holds those dope thrills. Pushing here to Brooklyn, low valleys and big field. No matter where you rest, your dreams a big deal. Out the window from the rays, and it's so sick. Moment to be grateful for the fruits of this planet. Every day is another blessing, a lesson to cherish. At ease, it's peace how the clouds be spinning. Rotation is the motto, take a minute to listen. Every circle meant another cycle complete. The cycle, it breeds knowledge. If you travel and see, absorbing wisdom, teach the children. Respect the women, they hold the wound that carries life. Divine and so healing. Defining our purpose, breaking free, no ceiling. Open atmosphere and amazing feeling. Be free. So we can be free. We operate on these frequencies so we can be love we found was love for self. If y'all feeling good and rocking with us, when I say self, you say love. Self, love, self, love, self, love, self, love, self, love.
Knotz, Christina Elise representing Philly and Jersey. And we spoke to them October?
Hold on,
I gotta get my notes.
I
think it was October.
I think you're right. That sounds right. It is October. Congratulations.
Nailed it. Interesting to point out, so I loved watching, I didn't get to ever see Christine just change the key and the strings and all that stuff. That was super cool. And interesting to point out, different every time. Like that's somewhat of a improvised, the way she strums every time is different, right, Christine?
Yeah.
We gotta welcome up to the stage Seán Barna. And we are blessed with not just one sissy hat today, but two sissy hats.
Well, I actually have like 150, but they're all in Nashville.
No, but I mean, we have someone else wearing it today. Yeah, that's why you're here. Seán Barna, everybody. Yeah. Traveled far and wide to be here. Kind of originally East Coast, but currently based in Nashville.
Well, I was recording and I ran out of gas money, so I couldn't go anywhere else. I couldn't have gone to Knoxville from Nashville.
Yeah.
No gas money.
But you did have a gig in Brooklyn on Friday.
I did. I played Brooklyn Made. We did. So there's The Clash. There's a compilation record coming out called Hearts and Minds and Crooked Beats. Raises money for International Rescue Committee. I was asked to be on it. The Dandy Warhols are on it. Mira's on it. Tiki Tiki's on it. There's a few people from my label, which Kill Rock Stars. But yeah, mine comes out on the 7th, and it's called Hitsville, UK.
Excellent. Yes. Excellent. And so we did have a chat July. Is that
July. Right? You're on top of things, Phil. Wow. Like a sharp like a razor.
Yes, mine like a steel trap. So we chatted in July. Oh, again, I can't forget. Everyone's got to have an affirmation because. Yeah. And again, you can censor yourself.
My fears can fuck off.
Yeah. That's yours. You have to keep that. You can tell your fears that whenever you need to. But yeah, 90s. We chatted back in July, and you had, for me, my favorite new song in 2023. So that was Benjamin Wishaw Smiled. Off of the Evening at Macri Park album. So there you go. Full disclosure, I don't say that to everybody. Yeah, so that was my favorite song of last year. And then in there, it's like, the rest of that album it contains a lot of kind of what we're chatting about here today. It is I think you kind of position it as a viscerally queer storytelling of, the dark corners of the neighborhoods and stuff.
Brooklyn is there's a lot of vampires walking around Brooklyn. Most of them are gay. Queer spaces have been the scenes of riots. They've been the scenes of police raids. They've been the scenes of violence against the community. It was gay to hold hands, or it was illegal to hold hands with another man in the 70s.
It was gay too, but
it's still. So historically, the reason gay bars were allowed to exist in the early 60s is because the mafia owned them. Okay, that's why. Mm-hmm. But Stonewall happened. There's riots. So they are spaces where you go to be safe from other people, but you still bring your own shit. So that's kind of what the album's about.
Right. Yeah. And
I never get nervous ever for shows, and I'm nervous.
Wow. Well, thank you for having that bravery to push through that.
I don't work on it because I'm never nervous. So here we are.
But I think in our conversation, there's two different elements to your mental health journey. I wanted to make sure we put out there. One of them is this one, where that aspect of finding your true self, and then also coming out, whether it's to your parents or to your friends or whatever. That's obviously anxiety-ridden. And then, well, let's talk about that. Let's just stay there, and anything you would want to share.
They're related. I know you're going to ask that. My brother got hit by a car and killed November of 2003. It was my first semester of college. I had just been there a month, and you escape your parents' finally to thank God away from those people. And I was drawn right back in, and I'm not the only one. Literally, they're worried I'm not wearing my seatbelt or something. So I had 2.5 years of absolute numbness, where I actually couldn't really grieve. Everyone grieves at their own pace anyway. But as bad as that was the worst time of my life, but it was worse for them even, of course. But I had to be there for them. And 2.5 years later, I was in Colorado, the Aspen Music Festival. I was studying music, classical percussion. So I was like playing Bach or Debussy in like 15 hours a day.
The easy stuff.
Yeah. It gets easy after 15 hours. It gets easier anyway. But when I went to Colorado, I was around like natural beauty. And actually, in my next year, it's coming out a lot about that. But I couldn't deny the beauty, and it started breaking me down, and I started to grieve. And I also realized I was gay. I was 21, and I waited until I was 34 to tell my parents because I didn't want to hurt them. Everyone else knew, though. Yeah.
And I just think that the grief part of this, too, is like some mental health is just there for you in who you are, and others are just heaped upon you like a grief moment where if that just didn't happen, it wouldn't have contributed.
What I think it's very important to say, because that was 20 years ago in November, is that you can't know it at first. You can't know it for a long time, but that something like that happens to you. You have a superpower. You can look at somebody and see it, just see it. And I'm particularly empathetic anyway, knowingly so. You can see it, and you can be there for people in a way that you didn't ask for, but you had it. And so, when I have, being somewhat public now, I have kids often asking me, how do I get through the first holidays without my mom or something? And I say, be kind to one person a day.
So, there's, sorry. Yeah. I mean, there's elements to this that are in our interview and stuff. People can check that out, and obviously we could talk about this a ton. But I think there's also the powerful music that you write that embraces some of this as well.
I'm just going to do Christmas songs. Like what I just told you, I need to focus on my parents a lot. And this is a song about my mom. Oh boy. It's on Sissy, my record. You can buy these pink, black, or black and white. It's an EP called Sissy. And on this song, Adam, lyrics from Common Crow, sings on it. And he liked the song so much he brought me on tour for 2 months. Yeah. This is called Routines. This woman, she just sits on the porch, a house her daddy didn't build. She's been missing her mother today, as she does when she notices the birds and the tattoo on her leg. It's my brother's name. She says, fuck man, losing him still hurts. She says, I'll burn this cigarette until the day I die. Got her routines down, ain't no stopping it, fading now. She should have a favorite book, doesn't matter now, she did the best she could. And when her baby comes home, she stay in the other room. I guess when you love in doubt, sometimes it's the distance gets you through. But now a goddamn day goes by, she don't do what he tells her to do. She's got her routines down there, ain't no stopping this freight train now. She's got her routines down there, ain't no stopping my, when she's in the mood. She talk about skipping school, 15 and drunk, out on the catwalk. And I guess when you can see the highway out the window of your childhood bedroom, you can never leave too soon. And I suppose everyone needs to decide with themselves what it is they're meant to do. She says I regret almost everything, but I'm so glad that I had you. She's got her routines now, ain't no stopping straight now. Got her routines down there, ain't no stopping it, fidgeting now. She's got her routines down, there ain't no stopping this fidgeting. I wrote this and released it before I told my parents I was gay. Now, they're not dumb people, so just... So this is off Sissy as well. It's called Queer Mad Blues. And yeah, there are young people here. I wasn't sure if there would be or not, but it's really important for you to know that you're not alone, ever. But you do have to reach out. Back when we were kids, I had this feeling you knew it. All along you noticed it. And down in the thunder on this mountain is cold. When you came to this town, came in alone. I will king I stole, and I took on that I wanted, queens and the jokes, and I burned all night longings, except Jesse's no. Go to the bar if they're already drunk, and guilt doesn't work if they already know that you did what you did, knowing what you were gonna do. You can't sing all the songs written for your mom. Why can't she sing her own goddamn songs? Lord knows she's got the stuff. And I took all I wanted, the queens and jokes, and I burned all night longings, not Jesse's note. I'm so scared of the madness in the middle of the room. Well, if you meant what you said, baby, maybe have the blue. The sad ones, the scared ones, the mad ones, and even the queer ones.
your chambers, give me sincere one. Fold of this and I'll leave here. Leave beauty to the beautiful. So you followed your man into the bathroom. Said don't come in, but you did, and you do. Now Missy is asking me about the booze. And it took all I wanted, the queens and the jokes. And I burned all my belongings, but not this leather coat. And you found your disease tried and true. And if you meant what you said, maybe, baby, should spread the news. The sad ones, the scared ones, mad ones, and even queer ones. The sad ones, the scared ones, mad ones, and even queer ones. The sad ones, the scared ones, mad ones, and even the queer ones.
We're covering the spectrum here. Like we're hitting every note.
They're doing all the hard work.
That's true.
I mean,
yeah, we're just an audience member.
yeah, we're just lucky enough to be here.
Exactly. I think the other one I wanted to mention was we do this sporadic times in the year of like a live thing, so like an in-person thing. And so the next one is actually a free one. So you're welcome to come to the No Planet B Jamboree, which is we do that in the Sun Inn courtyard. So that's why it's free, because you can't exactly ticket that thing.
Not yet.
You can attack it from multiple angles. But beautiful courtyard, and that one is dedicated to environmentalism and sustainability and conservation. So we bring on artists who are passionate about the earth and keeping it, not so hot, and less of all the natural disasters that are going on. So anyway, there's a good vibe around that one as well. So that will be Sunday, April the 21st, which is the day before Earth Day. And so it should be a good day there as well. This will be our second annual of that one. That's the second time we'll do that.
And hopefully the weather lines up like it did last year.
Or today, I'll take this even.
Yeah, this was lovely.
Chilly, but sunny and gorgeous. But so anyway, two exciting things coming up from your next favorite band.
Now let's move on to what could be
someone's next favorite band. Could be Carly Comando. Thank you, Carly, for joining.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll start right off with this one. You're actually studying to be part of the solution. You're actually in school to become a therapist.
Yes, I am.
Congratulations on that.
I've got another classmate here. There you are. There's two of us here so far that I'm aware of that are in the Kutztown Clinical Mental Health Counseling Program that are part of like the Lehigh Valley local music scene, but also trying to help other people eventually. So yeah.
That's awesome.
I just started. I'm trying
Yeah. And you do already help people by being part of Reset Outdoors.
Yeah, so I've been a musician my whole life, and I think my journey into this has really set me up for this next path of going to grad school to become a therapist one day. It's because I grew up in my own local scenes like DIY punk and hardcore community, and those communities showed up for me, and we all showed up for each other, and it's why I am who I am today. It's why Slingshot Dakota is a band. It's how I met my husband and a lot of my friends. And I wouldn't be where I am today without that community, because I feel like growing up in the 90s and the 2000s, therapy wasn't as normalized as it is now. And so that music community is what saved me. It's what saved a lot of my friends. And so I've kind of been set up for this next path of my life because of the music, because of the community. That's been a huge part of my life. Music to me is so special in that it's inherently therapeutic most of the time. And I had that experience with Donna. I have that experience now as an older person in music. I mean, this event is just like one example of that.
Sure.
And so choosing to pursue that, a career like assisting others and hopefully completing some goals and finding out who they are and being a cheerleader for them, like I'm just really excited about it, and it doesn't seem that far off the path that I'm already on. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm really excited.
One thing I wanted to touch on was I was very affected by the way you talked about your song "Good Year" at the songwriters round, and I wondered if you might touch on that a little bit, because it was about the story you told about how just at sometimes how you define a good year or a good day even changes when you're in different places in life.
Yeah, I won't go into too much because some of my songs have a very similar message that I'm playing, but I have a song called Good Year, and the lyric is, what qualifies a good year is changing. And you might qualify a good year by, oh, I had a job this year. Or you might qualify a good year by being like, this year was hot garbage, you know, my friend died, or we had a lockdown, and so, you know, I didn't see people for 2 years. So it's always changing, and there's so many different things going on, and it's the same for all of us. And I think the gist of what I was talking about with that song at the event that you're referring to was that it is really weird when you're going through something traumatic and everyone around you is in a different stage of their life. Like everyone's either going through something traumatic themselves, they've overcome trauma, or they haven't experienced something like that before. And it's really surreal to be in a world with people when you're feeling something so intensely and you don't feel like anyone else is feeling that. I think Seán, right, to kind of mention that as well, where it's like you feel completely, you feel crazy. I know we don't like to use that word in mental health, but like you really just feel completely disconnected and you feel like an alien. But the fact of the matter is, pretty much at all times, everyone's going through something. But it is weird when it's like you've experienced something absolutely devastating and the sun is shining. It's like the most gorgeous day, like everyone's blasting music from their car and you're like just trying to get a coffee and like pretend like everything's normal through that.
Absolutely. So you're going to play some music for us?
Yes.
Absolutely. So let's hear it for Carly Comando.
In this song, I had been dealing with a really rough year where I just felt super, again, helpless and alone and hopeless. And it's really hard to help other people when you're not prioritizing yourself first. And so not only is the song about kind of seeing that reflection of family and yourself and being like, oh, I got this from you, and like, oh boy, okay, like we're gonna get through this together somehow, but also pointing out that there's times when we can't be there for other people because we need the tools to take care of ourselves first. And it sounds like super selfish, but it's not selfish, it's actually very loving. Even though this song is a little bit heavy in nature, I'm saying this and performing all of this just to let you know that there's hope and there's help. And the reason that I am where I am today and I'm able to play this song and I'm able to just come at it with such a different perspective is because I've done the work. And I showed up for myself to do that work and to love myself. So this song is called The Day After Christmas.
I'm sorry I
kind of continue the mental health dialogue, but then also kind of give it a little empowering touch, since the last song was pretty heavy emotionally. This is a song called Paycheck. I spent 9 years working in a restaurant in New York City with other incredible creatives. So it was artists, musicians, actors, people pursuing different passions. And so all of us were there at this restaurant just getting the bills paid, like I mentioned before, and just kind of like working together and serving tourists some eggs on busy brunches. And I loved it, but then there were certain times where people were catty for no reason. People were just like cliquey and rude, and it prompted me to write this song called Paycheck, because at the end of the day, I was like, we're all here working this shitty job so we can do the things we really want to do, and hopefully one day the things that we really want to do pay so we don't have to be here anymore. So I don't know why we're being petty or rude. And it kind of ties in a little bit to the conversation that we were having below about the song Goodyear, but it's like all of us have baggage. All of us are going through stuff. We're doing our best, and it doesn't hurt just to be kind and to give everyone the benefit of the doubt that if they're not being their best one day, maybe they're going through something really difficult. So the song's called Paycheck. It's just about, don't come up with excuses as to why you're being a cranky pants. Like, just fucking be nice.
Give me a sign that you know I'm here. Give me a sign. Give me a sign that you know I'm here. Give me a sign. We look the same, days and hours. We work the same. We look the same, days and hours. We work the same. So let's just stop pretending we've got nothing in common. I'm sick of our excuses, so it's time we drop them. We're working paycheck to paycheck. I know that it's hard sometimes. I know it's hard sometimes. I know it's hard sometimes. I have a place that I call my home. I have a place. I know a face that I call my mom. I know a face. She wanted to
that was amazing. Thank you again. So it was interesting when you were talking about the, you know, that you were able to do the work, and then that song wasn't maybe as difficult to play. I actually heard an interview with Maynard James Keenan, who is the lead singer of Tool and Christopher and so on. And when he moved on from Tool, he had a lot of people reach out to him and was like, "No, that music means so much to me, and you know, you're helping me through all this stuff." And he's like, "But I don't need it anymore." He's like, "You would want to listen to music from someone who worked through it all. You don't want to stay there. That's a bad place to be." So I just thought that was such a fascinating thing, because he moved on from it because he wasn't that angry anymore, because he had done the work. So I thought that was kind of interesting. We are now at the closing band of the day, and we are so honored to have today with us Mike and Shannon Maines. All the way from, so originally from Michigan, now residing in Nashville. Yeah. And like we said, so honored to have you here today. Wonderful music, and then again, a great story to tell. One of the things I wanted to kind of start with, oh no, we got to start with our affirmations.
Yes!
You'd think by now I would, you get it.
Yeah. I'm so scared.
I'm scared, you're not supposed to scare that.
Oh, it's,
you want to change it?
Yeah.
No.
You can say it.
Okay.
Yeah.
It says keep fucking going.
Yeah.
It doesn't say where.
Bitch, know your worth. Which was per our conversation earlier. But
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the universe does the
We
right things.
manifested them.
That's right.
I got you.
Okay.
So yeah, yeah, let's share a little bit of yours. So you started in Michigan, and then went in a couple different directions as a band, and then now you've kind of been in Nashville for the longest period for yourself, correct?
Yeah. Yep. We played some. I feel like I need to get up. Hey. I was in Michigan. Shannon and I had played in different bands before the branches, and I had a huge crush on her, but she was dating the drummer at the time. And,
it's always the drummers.
I thought he was a dick.
It's always the drummers. That was a different effort.
And then we just stayed in touch. I ended up moving to Texas, and then we sent songs back and forth to each other, and started the band. I told her, because up until that time I was kind of just a debaucherous jackass who happened to play guitar. And then I told her I was in love with her, and she said, "Oh no, thank you."
Yeah. Oh.
Which makes sense.
Thanks.
6 months later, we started dating and never looked back, and make rock and roll together, which is pretty cool.
That is very cool. Thank you for that. And the other fun part I like about the story there is when you're in Texas, Oklahoma area, you're working at a casino, and it's like this you know, balance of seeing people throwing their lives away, and then you writing music about the flip side of that. And I think that correlates through all your music, where you kind of have that duality to it, where it might be a very fun, upbeat song with these very dark lyrics.
Yeah.
And you have a great quote from
Tom Waits.
Yeah.
I love beautiful melodies telling me terrible things.
Yeah. So anyway, a little bit about like the kind of inspiration behind writing music like that.
Do you want?
No.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm just here for emotional support.
Man, I've been on my own since I was 14, 15. Music, I just feel so overwhelmed and overjoyed to be here, thinking about all the amazing people we get to share the stage with tonight. And I feel like the language we all speak is trauma, and the way that we were able to sort of navigate our way out of that was music. You know, I think one of my other favorite quotes is Rumi, who was a Turkish poet, said, "The wound is the place the light enters you." And I just felt broken from a very, very young age, but going to these punk shows in Michigan, in these VFW halls, I'm like, shit, there are people like me. And that gave me a lot of hope, and I learned like 3 chords on guitar, and I still know about 3 chords on guitar. Yeah.
And there was one song I wanted to ask about, and it stems from Billy Corgan was, of the Smashing Pumpkins, wrote the song "Today Is the Greatest Day" on a day that he was pretty much contemplating killing himself.
Yeah.
And so he wrote it sarcastically.
Yeah.
But then it hooked, and he wanted to finish the song. And he's kind of, at least again, I've never interviewed him, but Billy, if you want to come on the show, we can talk about it. Like, it's that element of like, this sarcastic song turned into this huge hit. So you have that song, "Everything's Gonna Be All Right."
Yeah.
Or any other song that you have. Is any of them coming from a place of sarcasm? Like you're just dealing with a bunch of... Oh, I was just curious because as I was hearing that story, I was just like, well, wait a minute, maybe there's a connection there. If not, totally cool. I just was...
Totally. I think for me, sarcasm is a gift, but it's also like a survival instinct that I kind of had to have, and all my teachers thought I was a smart ass for good reason. But I think it's also being able to laugh at sort of the comedy of it enables me to distance myself from it so that I can have mindfulness to go, okay, I'm experiencing these really dark and painful and horrific thoughts, and I can also put the car in reverse and back out of that experience and witness it as well. And as long as I can do that, I can have a little bit of breathing room, I can have hope.
Sure.
If I can't, game over. In music, for me, listening to, I grew up on bands like Thursday and Brand New and Blink-182, like all these, punk rock and stuff like that, and I just, songs like sitting on the school bus and listening to like Adam's song and just like crying in the back with my Sony Discman, for those of you who are old. It just made me feel less alone, and that from a very, very young age, I just knew. I went and saw Thursday when I was 15 years old at a venue in Grand Rapids, Michigan. There was 3 bands on the bill: Every Time I Die, Murder by Death, and Thursday. And they came out and they absolutely crushed it. And I remember like their lead singer, Jeff Rickley, was like singing like this, like kind of holding the mic where you could barely understand what he was saying, but he like looked me in the eyes, and it was like, that was a moment. I'm gonna do this. Not as cool as he did, but I'm gonna do it.
And then the other element that I think you had shared was that there's obviously doing the work individually, but also you got a ton out of group therapy. Yeah. So I went to rehab out in Arizona. I had a suicide attempt in December of 2021, and the treatment center I went to, I was out there for 6 weeks, and part of it was group therapy. You're in group therapy every day. The first part of it, you'd wake up, we'd do these crazy long meditations while you kind of watch this violet sunrise come up over the desert, and then from there we would sit on an hour-and-a-half long lecture, and then we do group therapy, and it changed my life, truly. To me, recovery in particular, I've never met somebody who's an addict that also doesn't struggle with mental health issues. I think it's kind of like ketchup and fries. They just kind of go together. And being in those rooms, and especially, everything that you see in the movies is very, very accurate. It's typically in like a church basement under fluorescent lights. The coffee is shit. But people are really, really honest, and there's, to me, something incredibly sacred about being in a room full of people who are ashamed of these things that they continue to do, and they're powerless over those addictions or those processes or those behaviors. But they're coming into a room where they're finally feeling safe enough to be honest about it. And so for me, recovery, group therapy has been this fire that I can gather around with a lot of other people who have danced with similar devils. And I walk away from it feeling less alone. And 2 years later, now I'm sponsoring other guys who are trying to get sober. And it's, I heard somebody talk about Joseph Campbell, sort of the hero's journey. And it's the idea that, any great story has a setting, conflict, climax, resolution. You've also got a victim, a villain, a hero, and a guide. And all of those characters are alive and bouncing around on the inside of us. And for me, recovery and mental health is realizing I was a victim, but if I don't learn how to sort of heal the shame and the pain of my youth, I will turn into a villain. And
I hope to be a guide someday and you know, leave the world better than I found it.
Yeah, and I think that it's, and thank you for sharing all of this today. It's a brave thing that you do, and I think that's where the guide is starting to happen, because we saw it happen when we saw you perform, where you share some of this on stage in between songs, and you just see it connect with audience members, and you see them come to you at the merch table somewhat, you know, with tears in their eyes of saying, thank you for making me feel not so alone, and maybe tomorrow's looking like a brighter day, and it's just because of sharing, and it's just because of being made to feel not alone.
Primarily for the money. Should have merch downstairs. No, it is one of the, it's why I do it.
Shannon, one thing, and you know, I whether you want to speak to it or not, I just wanted to applaud you for obviously being a support system. It can't be easy as the spouse of somebody going through all of that.
Yeah, it's wild.
But I wanted to acknowledge that, because that's the other side of mental health, is there's somebody who is a partner of that person, and they're through the dark times, and you know, I just know that's not easy.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. It is kind of like when your friend or partner or whatever is going through that, at least in Mike's scenario, it's kind of like, I have like a huge fear of storms and tornadoes, so I learned when like a tornado is coming at you, it doesn't look like it's coming at you, but then you're like, oh shit, here's a tornado. So like with Mike, it was kind of like a ball that was going down the hill, and I was like, that ball is gonna be fine. It's getting bigger and scarier and like more like menacing, but it's gonna be fine. And then all of a sudden it just like a tornado, it just like hits you and like rips everything that you know to be true away, and like one day you're home and the next day you're like trying to convince the person you love not to take their life in real time, and you always wonder like, what am I gonna be like in like a really big crisis? And turns out I'm great. Mike, I knew that if he went to get help, it wouldn't work unless he wanted to, and so I knew like I couldn't tell him, you're leaving, you need to get help. And I needed to hear him say, I need help, I need to leave now. And I think like, yeah, yay, I worked on myself, but like, you did so much work, and like, the healing recovery journey is like a daily thing, and I'm real proud of this guy.
So, thank you both for sharing these stories.
This is it's a song I wrote called Breathing Underwater. This song and the last song we're going to do tonight are from an album we put out a couple of years ago called When We Were in Love. Like all the other musicians, we got into this for the money. So yes, of course, it's available for merch, but more importantly than all of that, that idea, I love what you said earlier about, you know, finding it hard to breathe or trying to breathe, and nights like this, I'm just incredibly grateful because I feel like I'm meeting people. It's like, oh shit, you're my family, and I've just been waiting to meet you, and I think that's the gift of creatives and musicians. You know, it's like, oh, we have the same scars, and we've learned how to kind of stitch them together and cobble a little life together. And Breathing Underwater is a song about me really, really struggling as an addict and trying to get sober on my own, nearly kind of blowing my life up and trying to put things back together. Oh, in the morning over coffee, threw my heart on the table, told you what I've done in the dark. You felt far away. I was gonna be a shelter, held your wife fell asleep. We were in the back of my car before we were far away. And now that you see darkness in me, won't you please things. I wrote this one when I was in treatment. I went to two different spots. First was in Arizona for about 6 weeks. And then at the end of that, once you've given them a large portion of your life savings, they're like, oh, we feel like you need more help, and you should spend more money. It's like, awesome. So I went to another spot in Denver for 3 months, and part of it was that I had to have a job while I was there. I'm a musician. I don't really like being told what to do. So I called the CEO and I was like, hey, I'm not going to get a job, but I have band and I'm a songwriter, so what if I just bring my recording gear to whatever the sober house is, and my job will just be I'll write a record while I'm there. He's like, cool, man, cool. You were probably an addict too, man. And this is one of the first songs I wrote during that season. Little apartment in Denver. It's called Terrible Things. Driving drunk while you sleep in the backseat. Radio on so you can't hear me think. Oh, I've done terrible things. Oh, I've done terrible things. My soul is sick, but I don't wanna fix it. If I heal my disease, who will I be without it? Oh, I've done terrible things. Honey, I've done terrible things. I wish I could forget. Oh, I'm calling my sponsor, I'm working the steps, filling the notebook with all of my regrets. Baby, I'm doing yoga 3 days a week, and my teacher says she sees a fire in me. I'm praying for you in my room every night. I haven't seen you in months, baby, it's alright. When I got your letter and you told me I changed, I cut my hair the next day, because I've done terrible things. Honey, I've done terrible things. I wish I could forget. Ooh, wish I could forget.
Give one quick thank you before we wrap this all up to the Ice House, to Doug, to Mike Duck for making everything sound so amazing today. To all the musicians, thank you to Knotz and Elise. Thank you to Seán Barna. Thank you to Comando of Slingshot, Dakota. Mike and Shannon Baines and Mike Baines and the Branches. Thank you. And to the sponsors, Cafe the Lodge, Members First, and also to Touchstone Theater. So this song here that is going to close things out was kind of the anthem of this event from the early stages of putting it all together. It was the promo trailer music, and it's called Around the Corner.
Please give it up for Phil, y'all. Phil's one of those people that makes it really hard to not want to keep doing music. He has a way of believing in people that's really, really rare and incredibly inspiring. And I think you're a true gem and a gift, man. I'm really thankful to call you my friend. Do you feel like hanging from a cross? Do you feel like your paradise is lost? When you're lying wide awake, counting every mistake, do you hate what you've become? Would you like to soak your heart in bleach? Scrub it white, till all the walls are clean. When you're staring in the mirror and the old black wolf appears, do you hate what you've become? Well, don't throw it all away. We've all made our mistakes. You never know what's waiting for you. Goodbye to yesterday, hello to brighter days. You never know what's around the corner. Do you feel like falling on your sword? You're gonna paint a white flag above your door. Is heaven's mansion out of reach? From your knees you drape your feet. Will you fall down on your sword? Or is the devil standing at your door? Don't throw it all away. We've all made our mistakes. You never know what's waiting for you. Oh, goodbye to yesterday, hello to brighter days. You never know what's around the corner, around the corner, around the corner. You never know what's around the corner. Oh, everybody needs a little bit of sunshine, a torch to light and carry through the dark night. Oh, my story's the same as yours, different details in between. I lost my faith, once was blind, then I saw the light.